Welcome to Fool's Key Tarot. I'm Ben, and this is a daily reading for Thursday, June 19th, 2025. We're going to draw 3 cards, one for the past, one for the present, and one for the future. So let's see what the cards have in store for us. First, the past, we have the Chariot reversed. Next, the present, we have the Knight of Swords reversed. And then the future, we have the Hierophant upright. So looking to the past first, the Chariot reversed suggests that you are rushing forward towards something, but either not making very much progress, or you later discover that the goal that you were moving towards was actually undesirable. It wasn't what you really wanted. You either were tricked or confused, or perhaps acting out of aggression or instinct rather than choosing your path with intention. Because the Chariot has to do with being in control and choosing your own direction. And I think the reversal suggests that you are choosing the wrong direction or going in circles. So definitely movement, but not actually getting anywhere. And in fact, with the Knight of Swords reversed in the present, I think the idea of motion without actually arriving anywhere is a strong theme of today's reading, because the Knight of Swords rushes forward, sometimes even recklessly, and in the reversed position, again, I could imagine that becoming either a lack of movement or of going in circles or in a jagged path, and so you're not moving nearly as fast as your speed would suggest. So there's definitely a connection between those two cards. So I think in the past, you had a goal or a mission that you worked on, but came to realize that you either didn't care in that outcome, or didn't want that outcome, or that outcome was not what you thought it was. Maybe you achieved it and realized, wait a second, this isn't as good as I thought it would be, or this didn't turn out to be what I was looking for at all. Or maybe you never achieved it, but you just realized that you didn't want it anymore. But you didn't give up. You didn't say, well, I'm frustrated because I haven't made much progress, and so I guess I'll turn away, even though I do still want the objective. I think it's definitely a sense of you deciding to leave or stop progress because you realize that the goal isn't good for you. It's not that you want it and can't have it, it's that you realize that you don't even want it. So in the past, it looks like we have a goal that you worked towards and then gave up intentionally because you realized that it was no longer going to be something you wanted. And then in the present, I think now you have all of this energy and momentum that you had before. But since you gave up that objective, you're now no longer sure what objective to take on instead. The Knight of Swords suggests a strong conviction, and being reversed and coming after the reversed Chariot, I think that what we have here is the urge to move, and maybe even the act of movement, but no real direction or conviction involved. So maybe you are going in different directions and never really getting that far. You try one thing and then give it up quickly, and then try another, and then move on to the next thing after that. Or maybe you don't move at all just because you're not sure which direction to go. So you have all this pent-up energy, and you have an urge to go in a certain direction, but every direction you look in doesn't seem like the right direction. It may be that after giving up your goal of the Chariot, you are now second guessing yourself on a lot of levels. And so every new goal that you look at and wonder if that should be the next thing to chase, you remember your Chariot experience where you chased it for a while and then gave it up, and then realized that that was not what you wanted. And so even though these new goals look perhaps appealing, just like the Chariot objective once did, you've lost your confidence that that will last. So I think this experience of working hard towards something and then realizing that it wasn't worth pursuing anymore, I think that's discouraged you. And now in the present, you gave this up in the past. And now in the present, you find yourself a little bit lost, and it's less that you aren't sure which direction to go and more that you're questioning those directions. Even if they seem promising, you think to yourself, well, so did this other goal. That seemed promising too. And then After a while, I realized it wasn't. So what if this new goal works out the same way? And that's frustrating to feel like it might all be for nothing or a waste of your effort or time. So this past experience of investing time and energy in a certain direction and then giving up that direction, that has you frustrated, it has you doubting yourself, and it's leaving you without a strong heading or direction to move in. And you're probably feeling kind of pent up and frustrated or else exhausted if you are chasing these directions. Maybe you move a little bit towards one goal and then give it up immediately because you're on the lookout for how that goal might evaporate even as you move towards it. Because that's what happened before, you're paranoid that it will happen again and you're looking for the signs, and you might even be overreading into the situation and jumping to conclusions because this past experience is influencing you in the present. When this card shows up in the past, it doesn't just mean that it's something that occurred in the past. Usually there is a through line or a way that this past experience is relevant for today or for the present situation. So I think with the reverse Knight of Swords, there's a sense of either not knowing which way to go or having a lot of ideas for which way to go and only moving a little bit towards each goal or direction before giving it up and going another direction. And I think the reason for that is because of this experience in the past, where you chased something and then realized it wasn't worth it. So where does that take us in the future? Well, the Hierophant is about tradition and groups, and even sometimes a higher purpose, usually found through something like a religion or a group goal where you are but one cog in a larger machine. That doesn't mean you lose all identity or give yourself entirely over to a religion or a group or a person, but it does mean assimilating into a group, accepting some of their norms and traditions, and going along with them, and at the same time, adopting as your own the goal of the broader group. And so the Knight of Swords is a very independent card. This is somebody who thinks for themselves and doesn't take no for an answer. And it's not that they don't listen to other people, but if other people disagree with them, they're not willing to compromise or listen very carefully to what that person has to say. If it doesn't seem right or it seems to contradict with what they're thinking, then the Knight of Swords will be somebody who immediately rejects that notion or that idea. And so in its reverse state here, I think that that's an exaggerated aspect of this card. So you're trying to find a direction, or you're trying to pick one of many directions and only tentatively following each of them. And I think that in your current state, you are not really accepting outside help or listening to other people, or even considering how your actions might line up with a larger group. You're trying to find a goal for yourself. That doesn't mean you're being selfish. Your goal might involve helping other people, but it's your goal that you chose, and you're going to chase it independently. And you're not doing it because anybody else told you or because society expects you. You're doing it because you have decided what to do. And the Chariot is the ultimate card of choosing your own destiny, choosing your own path. So I think you've done that in the past. And even though it didn't work out well that one time, as we discussed, you still have that independent streak and that desire to make your own path and basically not fall into the archetype of the Hierophant where you assimilate into a group and work together towards a common goal. So that's your current mindset, that you want to be independent and choose your own way forward and blaze your own path, regardless of what other people think. And I think the cards are nudging you towards being more open to a collaboration. If you are having a hard time figuring out a goal or a direction to move in, then maybe there is a group who could provide some structure or some guidance in that direction. That doesn't mean that you have to give yourself over to this group entirely and simply do whatever they say, regardless of if it appeals to your sense of self and independence. But there might be a way that you can act according to your own values and have your own independence and your own objectives, but also have that be not synonymous with, but part of a larger group or a larger effort that other people are also involved in. So it's not a binary. You don't have to either act alone or become one cog in a larger machine. Instead, you can try to find a hybrid approach. And even though the Hierophant upright is in your future, the reason I think that a hybrid approach is most likely to be what the cards are indicating is because of these two extremely independent cards in your past and present. And so if you have such an independent streak and such a strong desire to make your own path, then it's unlikely that completely reversing course and totally giving yourself over to a higher power or a larger group, it's unlikely that that is going to be satisfying to you. Now, if it is, and you need a total 180 and you need to completely change everything, then that is entirely possible within this reading because of these, especially because these cards are reversed and then coming into the upright Hierophant in the future. So it may be that there is a group who could completely give you guidance, and maybe that's exactly what you need. But if you do want to retain that independence that you have so strongly exercised in the past to mixed results, but there's a reason you exercise that independence. It's because you want to have agency and you have strong ideas about where you want to go and how you want to get there. And the cards are saying you don't have to give all of that up, but just consider what other people have to say. Consider that if your efforts are put in the context of a larger group or a wider organization or some kind of bigger goal that you can't accomplish all on your own, but you could accomplish some piece of, and other people would accomplish other pieces of, and then altogether it would add up to some much larger goal, that's a direction that you should consider, because the past and present, I think, have some frustrations and some dead ends in them. And so if you're looking to get away from that, then try to find a group or an organization that you can learn from and perhaps join, maybe not join. The Hierophant can also indicate a teacher who gives you wisdom and guidance. And so this might even just be a person or still a group that you approach and interact with and gain a sense of clarity about your objectives or your goals and how to move towards them. And then maybe you separate. You don't have to join the group. You don't have to meld your goals with their goals or even have them be related at all. Maybe it's just that they can give you a nudge in the right direction and you can return to your full independence after gleaning some wisdom or knowledge from this person or group. So there's a lot of possibilities here, and it's going to be up to you to determine which is the most appropriate for your trajectory and your life. But what is clear in this reading is that you've had to give up a goal in the past that you had worked towards, probably for a long time, and that was frustrating. And that experience, on some level, is still haunting you today, and it's taking away some of your confidence or even motivation to chase new goals because the last one didn't work out well. Doesn't have to be the most recent one, so not necessarily the last one, but some significant one from your past is still overshadowing today. And the cards are just telling you that broaden your point of view, open your mind to new sources of inspiration, and be willing to give up a little bit of your independence, at least temporarily, to try to figure out how to get out of your current predicament and elect the goal that you want to chase, that you won't have to give up because you realize that you don't actually want it, because that's what you're afraid of now, is finding another goal that isn't really for you and then wasting time chasing it. In order to make sure that your next goal or your next objective that you move towards isn't the same kind of situation, look to wisdom from a wise teacher or a group or an organization that might give you guidance or help in determining a direction. And then once you have found that heading and are ready to head off in that direction, then it will be up to you to what extent you want to continue to work with this mentor or group, or to what extent you simply got help from them and now can go back to your independence and go back to making your own way. But even if you do sever ties and move forward alone, you'll still have a relationship with this person or group because they helped you find your current your current goal, and that is a relationship that will remain open. And so if you find yourself having trouble along the way, you can return to that source for help or inspiration or motivation. Um, After achieving your goal, you might go back to them and thank them for the help that they gave you. You might be able to share some of the rewards with them. And this might be the first step in a larger relationship with this person or group, as they might continue to help you in the future. So not only can they help you in the present to figure out how to move forward, but there might become a longer term relationship that will be beneficial for both you and the group. Don't look at it as a one-way relationship where they're just going to help you and then you go off and you're on your own again. There will be a two-way relationship where you can help them as well. And that might not be immediate. It may be that in the short term, in the future, they're going to help you more than you helping them. But you will find a way to repay them, and you will want to. It won't be that you feel obliged and you want to go off in some new direction, but feel like, oh, I have to go back to that group that helped me, and now I owe them something. Whatever relationship forms here will be a mutually beneficial one, and whatever help you give them will be willing on your behalf and will be satisfying to give. And it might even be automatic. Once you figure out what your next objective is and work towards it, it may well be the case that that's already in harmony with this group's goals or ideals. And so just by chasing your path, even if it is independent by yourself, you might be helping out this group implicitly by simply moving towards a goal that aligns with their larger objectives or values. So look to a new source of help, probably a larger group, but it could be an individual person. If it's an individual person, it's more likely to be a teacher or some kind of person with a unique status. Certainly a religious figure like a priest would be possible, but really anybody who is learned and in a position to guide other people, especially in the areas of ethics or teaching the knowledge base of a group or an organization, like a religion, but it can be many other things that have been built up over a long period of time. And now they are the conduit to transmit that knowledge or that wisdom to you. So be on the lookout for someone or something like that that can help you, because if you're feeling stuck, either that there's too many directions to go in at once and you can't really commit to one, or there's no direction to go in and you are kind of stuck. No matter what current quandary you're in, this new Hierophant could help you out with this situation, and in particular, it'll help you get away from the influence of this reversed Chariot situation from your past. It's haunting you today, and it's part of why you feel frustrated or unable to commit or move very far in a certain direction. And the Hierophant isn't just going to solve your current problem in the moment. It's going to help you get away from this influence entirely so that you're free from it in the future. Every time you go to choose a new course or goal and start chasing it, this will no longer be in your head and reminding you of failure or of why you should give up or why you should be paranoid or why you might be wasting your time. You've already had this experience, and there's no point in carrying it around forever and letting it drag you down or weigh you down forever. And it might be dragging or weighing you down right now, but the Hierophant will be the one who can help unburden you in that way. And that will help you out in the present, but also indefinitely into the future. So if you enjoyed this reading, then subscribe to see more. And if you'd like to learn about tarot cards or try some of my online guided readings, then head on over to foolskey.com where you can check that out. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.